This is from Disney Princess 5-Minute Treasury, Cinderella, The Lost Mice. One clear winter night, the prince led Cinderella out to the balcony. "I have a surprise for you," he said, handing her a box. Inside was a beautiful new coat. "Oh, it's simply lovely," Cinderella exclaimed. "Thank you." It was a pretty and thoughtful gift. The coat would keep her warm during the cold winter. The next morning, the princess showed her coat to Susie, one of her mouse friends. "Isn't the prince thoughtful?" Cinderella remarked. "Nice-a, nice-a," Susie exclaimed. The coat sleeve felt warm and cozy, especially compared to where the mice lived. A few minutes later, Jacques and Gus went into Cinderella's room. It had been a chilly night in the attic, and the mice were still shivering. "Cinderella! Cinderella!" Jacques called. He knew that if he told the princess how cold the attic was, she would do something about it. But she was rushing off to get dressed for a tea party, so she didn't hear her friend. Jacques sighed. It was too cold for the mice to stay in the attic much longer. Cinderella had always been very kind to the mice, and Jacques was sure she would want them to be warm. So he and Gus called the rest of the mice down from the attic. They sat in front of a blazing fire in Cinderella's room. Before long, their cold paws and tails had warmed up, and their teeth stopped chattering. They'd wait there until Cinderella got back. Soon the new housekeeper came in to clean the room. When she saw the mice, she shrieked and shooed them away. "Mice don't belong in the castle," she shouted. "Now get out!" The housekeeper didn't know that the mice were Cinderella's friends. She chased them with a broom. The frightened mice had no choice but to scramble back up to the cold attic. Brrr! Gus began to shiver as soon as the mice were safely upstairs. The mice really needed the princess's help. But how would they be able to speak to Cinderella when they're afraid to set foot downstairs? Wham! Suddenly, the castle gardener barged through the attic door. Before the mice knew what was happening, he had them trapped. "Now take them outside," they heard the housekeeper say. "Take them far away so they never return." Meanwhile, Cinderella's tea party had ended, and she and the prince were out riding. As their horses trotted through the countryside, they saw the castle gardener tending to something in one of the fields. "Oh, hello," the prince called out. "It's much too cold to be working outside." But the gardener did not answer. The prince called to him again and still got no reply. As they rode on, the prince turned to Cinderella. "That was odd," he said. "I can't believe he did not hear me. Why wouldn't he answer?" "Perhaps he was lost in thought?" Cinderella suggested. Cinderella was right. The gardener had been trying to make a decision. He was about to let the mice go as the housekeeper had ordered, but he was worried about them. He knew it was too cold outside. Finally, he decided to take the mice to the stables. "Now, don't tell the housekeeper," he told the stable workers. "But these poor mice need a warm place to stay and a bite to eat." The mice were very grateful to their new friends. The mice nestled together in the barn, but as night approached, the stables got colder. Luckily, the horses were very friendly. They told the mice to snuggle in their manes to keep warm. "That's nice," said Gus as he drifted off to sleep. Later that night, back at the castle, Cinderella was starting to worry. She hadn't seen the mice since that morning. Jacques and Gus nearly always came by in the evening. Cinderella was searching for the mice when she ran into the prince. "Why, hello," the prince said. "Are you looking for the same person I am?" "No, I don't think so," Cinderella replied. "I'm looking for the mice." "Ah," said the prince. "Well, I am looking for our new housekeeper. Apparently she threw the mice out of the castle today." "Oh no," Cinderella cried. "Poor dears, they'll freeze outside." "Don't worry," the prince said. "The mice have found a new friend." He told Cinderella about what the gardener had done. Together, Cinderella and the prince went to the stables. They thanked the gardener and the stable workers. Then they gently woke the mice. "Cinderella! Cinderella!" the mice shouted happily. Cinderella was relieved to see her little friends safe and sound. Though the stables had been nice, the mice were glad to return to the castle. From then on, Cinderella made sure the mice always had a warm place of their own in one of the main rooms of the castle. A few nights later, Cinderella and the prince threw a grand ball. The gardener was the guest of honor. By then, the housekeeper had been properly introduced to the mice, and all was well. As the guests twirled around the dance floor, the mice celebrated with a banquet of their own, warm and cozy at last.